Downtown Spokane has always been a mix of charm and frustration. You can walk past a beautiful historic building, grab a coffee at First Avenue, and 2 blocks later, you're stepping around trash and wondering why it feels so different. If you've lived here a while, you probably have your own opinion about what's going on, but recently something big happened. The Spokane City Council finally voted unanimously to crack down on camping, sidewalk obstruction, and other issues that have frustrated both residents and business owners for years. So today, I want to talk about what this vote actually means, how we got here, what locals are saying, and whether it's enough to start rebuilding downtown with confidence. I'm Haydn, Halsted, your Spokane real estate resource. My team helps people move into, out of, and across Spokane. If you find videos like this helpful, please subscribe or join our newsletter below. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on what's really happening in our city. So for years, Spokane residents have been saying the same thing. I love this city, but downtown doesn't feel like it used to. Business owners have said it, people walking to work have said it, and even people who just visit once or twice have said it. The new ordinance gives officers more flexibility. They can connect someone to services, issue a citation, or in some cases make an arrest. And it's not just about punishment, it's about having actual tools when outreach alone isn't enough. The fact that the vote was unanimous says a lot. Everyone on the council from every political side agreed that something needed to change. And that doesn't happen often in Spokane. And when you look at who supported it, Catholic Charities, the Downtown Spokane Partnership, Greater Spokane Incorporated, and even small business owners like Doyle Wheeler from First Avenue Coffee, they're all saying the same thing. We need a downtown that feels safe, consistent, and cared for. And after the vote, I asked people on Instagram how they feel about downtown Spokane, and I'll be honest, the responses were really raw. One person said, "It is a shame how unsafe I feel in such a pretty area." Another said that Spokane's leadership failed downtown. It's not safe, it's very sketchy, but it has so much potential. And someone else said that their first thought is always that the homeless and the trash on the sides of the road are a problem. But there was another side of it, and other people said it's relatively safe overall. It's just uncomfortable sometimes. More housing and businesses downtown would help this. And they said that this is something that's hard to avoid in any major city at this point. And so that's the balance. People love what downtown could be, but they are frustrated with what it's become. And here's what really stands out to me. Even the people who are critical also said that they still want to go downtown. They love the restaurants, they love the shops, they just want to feel like it's getting better. So that's not apathy, it is hope, and that's something the city can build on. And just as a personal story here, I had someone reach out to me recently who was thinking about moving to Spokane. They actually found me through this YouTube channel, flew out here to explore neighborhoods, and had an unfortunate and pretty uncomfortable experience downtown. It was enough that they decided not to move here altogether, and that one afternoon experience in downtown Spokane changed their entire life. That's the kind of thing that doesn't show up in data points, and you can't measure that in a spreadsheet, but it's real and it's happening, and I can only imagine if it can't just be just me and my clients at this point. And so that's why these new policies really matter, because when downtown feels unpredictable, it impacts everybody: small businesses, visitors, locals trying to sell their homes, and even people who never go downtown. Every time someone feels uneasy walking a few blocks, it ripples out into how people see this entire city. So just to give a little bit of history, this new ordinance didn't appear out of nowhere. It's a reaction to years of frustration and a series of failed attempts to manage things through outreach alone. Spokane tried to lead with compassion, which is good, but we didn't have the structure to back it up, and there weren't enough shelter beds. Coordination between departments was weak, and enforcement was basically non-existent. And this result was that both sides, business owners and outreach workers, ended up feeling like they were spinning their wheels. So this vote is the city saying we have to try something different, and it's not going to be perfect, but it is a start. And I just wanted to give a quick pause here. If you want to stay up to date on what's actually happening across Spokane, you can join our free newsletter below. It's where we break down city policy, housing trends, and neighborhood changes every single week right in your inbox. But let's get right back into this. So the ordinance strengthens rules on sidewalk obstruction, littering, fires, and damage to street trees, and expands what police can do in a moment's notice. But here's what makes this moment different. The support is very broad. Catholic Charities called it compassionate realism. The Downtown Spokane Partnership said it's about restoring balance. Even the business community and service providers are saying the same thing. This isn't about criminalizing homelessness. It's about accountability for everybody. And the hope is that it pushes the city toward better coordination, so that when an officer actually offers help to a homeless person, there's actually a bed available that night and a way for them to get there. And that's the key word, which is follow through. So there's still work that needs to happen to make this successful. Even strong strong supporters admit there are gaps. So many shelters don't allow couples to stay together. Some don't accept pets. Others are across town from where people actually are. A woman interviewed after the vote said she'd accept shelter in a heartbeat if she and her partner could stay together. And that one line sums it up. The intention is good, but the details still need some work. If the city can close those gaps and match every enforcement effort with a real place for people to go, this could finally start turning the corner. But if not, we'll be kind of right back where we are in 6 months from now. And you might not think all of this stuff going on directly downtown affects absolutely everybody in the Spokane area or where they choose to live, but it really does. When downtown feels unpredictable, relocation buyers tend to skip Spokane and head straight to Coeur d'Alene, Liberty Lake, or the Spokane Valley. And it's not just the buyers that are thinking about making Spokane home and bringing their tax dollars to the Spokane area, but it's the businesses too. Like take the recent case of the Land Rover dealership that relocated from downtown Spokane to Spokane Valley. Over the past year, they've had around 93 police calls at their downtown lot and reported roughly $100,000 in damage from vandalism and trespassing. And they said it wasn't working downtown anymore. That's a major business leaving the downtown core. And when a big player like that pulls out, it sends a signal to smaller businesses that maybe downtown isn't the safe bet right now. That ripple effect shows up everywhere, from how investors view commercial projects, to how employees feel walking to work, to how confident homeowners feel when they talk about Spokane to someone thinking about moving here. Just this week, I spoke with a potential client considering relocating here, separate from the one I mentioned earlier. They loved Spokane's scenery and neighborhoods, but they told me they were worried that if they moved here, they'd be siloed into just their neighborhood because they didn't feel comfortable going downtown. And that's what worries me most. Spokane should not feel like a collection of isolated pockets. People should want to explore every corner and not feel like they have to stay in their bubble. So the good news is this can change. When downtown feels steady, vibrant, and cared for, it lifts the entire region, it brings back confidence, and it changes how people talk about Spokane. And that's what really drives long-term growth. Not hype, but just trust built block by block. So this new ordinance isn't the finish line. It is just a reset button for now. It's the city saying, we hear you, we're going to try again, and we know it's going to take some time. So what's going to matter now is simple. Do things actually start to feel different downtown? Are more businesses opening? Do patrols stay consistent? Do residences notice a change when they walk to lunch? Because here's the truth. We won't know if downtown is getting better until people actually start going there again. So that means we all have to play a role in this. Visit a local shop, try to eat downtown once a week or once every other week, show up at the parks, report issues when you see them, and the more visible we are, the easier it is to measure this real progress. So I just want to promise you that I don't believe Spokane is collapsing. I love it still, and it's evolving. And if the city follows through on this, we could finally see downtown live up to its potential, that balance of grit and beauty that makes Spokane unique. It's not going to happen overnight, but for the first time in a while, there's a sense that people are paying attention. So here's my hope that in 6 months from now, we can walk through downtown, see more open shops, fewer vacant lots, and more people just enjoying this beautiful city. I'm Haydn Halsted, your Spokane real estate resource. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.